Welcome to a journey of transformation. Today we're diving into the core principles that will empower you to overcome obstacles, master your mindset, and achieve results you once thought were impossible. This is your time to take control and rise above. Let's make it happen. When you walk away from a situation or relationship, you take control of your energy and direct it towards the most important person in your life, yourself. It's not an act of abandonment or weakness. Rather, it's a powerful statement of self-respect. In the moment you choose to walk away, you are telling the world that your time, energy, and emotions are too valuable to be spent in places or with people who don't recognize your worth. It's a silent declaration that you have enough self-love to prioritize your peace and happiness over seeking validation or approval from others. This act of detachment demonstrates inner strength, a strength that arises from the understanding that you are complete, whole, and not dependent on anyone's acceptance to feel worthy. By walking away, you are telling the universe that you are the source of your own contentment. It's an empowering action, one that radiates confidence and attracts the right energy back into your life. Now, let's get started with today's training. When you step away from a situation, you create a space where your absence is felt more profoundly than your presence ever was. This absence doesn't come from a place of pride or ego, but from a deep understanding that you're valuable, too valuable to be taken for granted. People often fail to appreciate what they have until it's no longer there. By walking away, you give them the gift of missing you. And this longing is a force that can't be ignored. You force them to realize that their lives were better with you in them, and without you, something is missing. This shift in perspective is a powerful catalyst for change. In walking away, you don't just leave the relationship or situation. You leave behind a void that challenges others to reconsider their behavior, their choices, and their perceptions. You are not chasing anyone, nor are you seeking anything from them. If instead you allow them to come to the realization that they need to make changes to keep you in their life. When you withdraw your energy and stop seeking validation from others, you unknowingly set the stage for them to start imagining life without you. This is where the magic happens. People are naturally inclined to chase what they perceive as out of reach. When they see that you are no longer chasing them, they begin to wonder if they might lose you for good. They start to question themselves. What if I never find someone like this again? This is where their feelings of inadequacy start to surface. They begin to see you as a prize, as someone who holds immense value, and suddenly, they're the ones trying to win you back. The absence you've created doesn't just signal that you've stepped away. It challenges them to think about what they've lost and what they need to do to earn back your affection and respect. Control over yourself, not others, is the highest form of power. Walking away is an action rooted in this deep-seated belief. You are not reacting to their behavior or manipulating the situation. You are simply choosing to walk away because you value your own peace and mental well-being more than any external situation. In choosing to step back, you make a bold statement. You are the one who gets to decide what you tolerate, how you are treated, and what kind of energy you allow into your life. You are in complete control of your emotions, and you refuse to let anyone or anything dictate your happiness. This level of self-restraint is intoxicating to others. They can feel the shift in your energy. They see that you are no longer chasing them or clinging to their approval. In their eyes, you become someone who is self-assured and fully aware of your worth. People are drawn to this energy because it reflects a sense of inner peace and confidence that most people long for. While you walk away and focus on your own growth, you simultaneously allow the space to create something more powerful within yourself. Time apart from anyone or anything that doesn't serve your growth gives you the opportunity to evolve into a better version of yourself. It allows you to invest your time, energy, and emotions into things that are meaningful to you, whether that's personal development, new skills, or emotional healing. As you grow, you become even more attractive, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. The person who walked away from the situation or relationship may return to find someone who has leveled up, someone who is stronger, wiser, and more magnetic than ever before. The key here is to not wait for them to notice, but to focus on your own personal transformation. The person who walks away in order to grow becomes the person that others can't help but chase, because they can see the progress, the strength, and the beauty in the growth you've undergone. When you walk away, you unknowingly turn into a paradox. You're still there, but you're not. Your presence remains in their mind, but it's no longer available for them to take for granted. You have shown them that your value is not something to be dismissed, and they begin to respect you more because of your decision to walk away. When you choose to detach, you create an emotional space that serves as a powerful catalyst for change. It's not about pulling away out of anger or resentment, but rather about choosing yourself and your happiness over the comfort of staying in a situation that no longer aligns with your values. This act of detachment, though quiet, speaks volumes. It forces others to see you in a new light. No longer are you chasing after approval or validation. Instead, you are confidently walking away, signaling that you understand your worth. This detachment becomes a magnetic force. It sends the message that you are not easily available, and as a result, others begin to see you as more valuable. The other part, the controlling element in me too. When you withdraw your energy and shift your focus inward, something remarkable happens. Those who may have once taken your presence for granted begin to feel a sense of loss. They begin to miss you in a way they never expected. Your absence creates a void, and that void is felt more intensely than anything your presence could have provided. People often fail to realize the importance of something until it's no longer there. They take comfort in the assumption that you will always be there, giving them your time, your attention, and your love. But when you step back, you break that assumption, and in doing so, you force them to reckon with the reality of life without you. They begin to feel the weight of your absence in their lives, and this creates an emotional longing, a desire to bring you back into their world. I began to find that this is true. Detachment isn't about playing games or seeking revenge. It's about creating space for others to reflect on what they had. When you walk away, you allow others to experience the loss of your presence. They begin to wonder if they will ever find someone like you again, someone who brings the unique energy, love, and understanding that you provided. This question lingers in their mind, and they are often left scrambling to come to terms with the fact that they might have let something truly special slip away. The more you detach, the more you give them the opportunity to miss you. The more they miss you, the more they realize just how important you were in their life. This emotional space you create by walking away is not empty. It's filled with the unspoken realization of your value. The absence of your presence makes it impossible for them to ignore the impact you had. They begin to miss your laugh, your energy, your warmth. They start to recognize how much they took you for granted, and this realization can be incredibly powerful. By detaching, you shift the dynamic in a relationship. It's no longer about you chasing after their affection or trying to prove your worth. Instead, the tables turn, and they're the ones who begin to feel the urgency of winning your heart back. When you choose detachment, you also send a message to yourself that you are deserving of more. You are deserving of someone who sees your value and treats you accordingly. This message is not just for others, it's for you too. By creating emotional distance, you are setting a boundary that reinforces your self-worth. It's a way of saying that you won't settle for less than what you deserve. And this is not just about getting someone's attention. It's about honoring yourself and your needs. You are telling the universe that you are not desperate for validation or affection. You are whole on your own. And if someone wants to be a part of your life, they must come with the same level of respect, love, and understanding that you offer. This space you create allows for reflection. When people realize that they might lose you, they are forced to examine their actions, their choices, and the value they place on you. It creates an emotional shift. They begin to see the relationship in a new light. They start to question if they really treated you the way you deserved, and in doing so, they start to realize that they might have taken you for granted. This reflection can lead to a shift in their behavior, and they may begin to value you in ways they hadn't before. In many ways, detachment is an invitation for growth. It allows both you and the other person the time and space to evaluate what you truly want. When you remove yourself from the situation, you give the other person a chance to reflect on their feelings and their priorities. Often, when people are too close to a situation, they can take things for granted. But when the distance is created, it gives them a new perspective. And when the distance is created, it gives them a new perspective. They start to see you as someone who can walk away without hesitation. Someone who knows their worth and is not afraid to stand up for what they deserve. This realization often sparks a desire in them to change and improve, to become someone who can meet you at your level and sympathize with you in whatever emotional storm you are facing and understand your need of self-care. The emotional space you create through detachment has a way of intensifying feelings. It turns the ordinary into something extraordinary. The absence of your presence makes your presence even more powerful when it returns. They begin to see you as a rare gem, someone who is not easily replaced. This longing is not just about missing your company. It's about missing the energy and the unique qualities you bring to the table. It's about realizing that the dynamic between you and them can never be replicated with someone else. When you detach yourself from someone or something, you create a shift that is often more powerful than words can express. This space, though silent, speaks volumes. It forces those around you to see things in a way they never did before. Walking away is not an act of weakness or surrender. It is an invitation for reflection. It's the moment when you stop trying to control the situation and allow the other person to feel the weight of your absence. In that absence, they begin to understand the value of your presence. They start to see you not as someone they can take for granted, but as someone they must earn. The act of walking away shifts their reality and opens a door for them to reconsider their choices. Your absence becomes louder than any word you could have spoken. When you step away, you create a space where your absence is felt deeply. People often don't realize what they have until it's gone. And when you choose to walk away, you give them the opportunity to understand just how much you meant to them. The void left behind by your absence makes them question everything: their actions, their words, and their intentions. They begin to realize that life without you isn't as fulfilling, and they start to feel the longing for the connection that once was. The distance you create is not just physical but emotional. It allows them to take a step back and reassess the situation from a new perspective. The more you remove yourself, the more they are forced to reckon with the fact that they might lose something valuable if they don't make a change. These consequences can also encourage shifts. This emotional space, created by walking away, gives others the opportunity to reflect on the situation. In this space, they start to imagine what life might be like without you in it. This shift is crucial, as it brings their attention to the reality of your absence. People often take things for granted when they feel secure in them. But once that security is shaken, They begin to question their actions. The act of walking away creates a void that forces them to imagine a different future, one where you are no longer a part of it. In that moment, they begin to see things through a new lens. They imagine life without your energy, your support, your love. They realize they might have been blind to the value you brought into their lives. And that realization becomes a powerful motivator for them to reevaluate their feelings. So big is the difference, there is only one thing left for them to reevaluate their feelings. The idea of imagining a life without you is not just a fleeting thought. It plants a seed in their mind that grows with time. The longer you remain absent, the more they begin to feel the impact of your presence in their life. It's in this emotional space that true change begins to happen. People often don't change until they are faced with the fear of loss. When you walk away, you create that fear. They begin to imagine a future where you are no longer there, and that thought alone becomes a wake-up call. It forces them to reflect on their behavior, to question whether they've been treating you with the respect and appreciation you deserve. The power of walking away lies in the fact that it forces others to create a new reality, one where they no longer take you for granted. The moment you remove yourself from the equation, they are left to imagine what life would be like if you were gone for good. This shift in their perception often leads to a realization of your worth. They begin to see you as someone who is not just a part of their life, but someone who holds a significant place in it. The absence you've created makes them realize that they can't continue without acknowledging the impact you had. In their mind, they begin to envision a life where they actively work to earn your presence back. This mental shift is what makes them chase you, not out of desperation, but out of a genuine desire to restore what they've lost. Imagination has the ability to shape reality in ways that are often subtle yet powerful. When someone begins to imagine life without you, they are no longer seeing you as something they can take for granted. Instead, they are seeing you as something they might lose if they don't take action. This imagined reality forces them to reevaluate their choices and actions. They begin to see their behavior in a new light, and that shift is what drives them to change. The act of walking away creates a sense of urgency in their mind, pushing them to make the necessary changes to bring you back into their lives. When you choose to walk away, you are giving others the opportunity to see their mistakes. You are providing them with the space to reflect on their actions and how they might have taken you for granted. This space allows them to imagine what life would be like without you, and in that space, the desire to make things right grows. They begin to see you as someone worth fighting for, someone who deserves respect, love, and admiration. The act of walking away is not just about removing yourself from a situation. It's about creating the conditions for the other person to imagine a future where you are no longer there, and that future feels incomplete without you. There is a quiet power in self-control, one that does not require force or loud declarations. It is the ability to act with intention, to govern your actions and emotions without being swept away by external circumstances. When you master self-retrieval, you wield a power that transcends temporary emotions or fleeting desires. It is not about suppressing your feelings or denying your impulses, but rather about understanding them and choosing how you respond. And this kind of control is rooted in deep self-awareness. It is the art of choosing your actions, thoughts, and words with purpose, even when emotions run high or external forces try to pull you in different directions. When you have self-control, you possess the ability to navigate life's challenges with grace and confidence, no matter how chaotic the world around you may be. Self-restraint is not just about restraint. It is about knowing when to step forward and when to hold back. It's about having the wisdom to recognize that not every situation demands an immediate response. By exercising patience, you allow time to reveal the truth, to give you clarity and to show you the path forward. In moments of frustration, anger, or confusion, the ability to pause and take a step back can be the difference between reacting impulsively and responding with thoughtful intention. When you choose to pause, you give yourself the space to make a conscious decision rather than acting out of emotional impulse. This is where true power lies, in the choice to take control of your response rather than letting the situation control you. When you master self-validation, you no longer feel at the mercy of external circumstances or the opinions of others. You begin to realize that your happiness, your peace, and your sense of fulfillment are not dictated by anyone but yourself. You no longer feel the need to seek validation from others or seek approval for your choices. This is an incredibly liberating realization. The moment you stop seeking external approval, you free yourself from the shackles of insecurity and dependence. You begin to trust your own judgment and recognize that you are capable of making decisions that align with your values and your goals. In this space, you experience true freedom. The freedom to be yourself without fear of judgment, the freedom to make choices that serve your highest good, and the freedom to move through life with confidence and poise. Self-restraint also allows you to protect your energy. In a world that constantly pulls at you from all directions, it can be easy to lose yourself in the demands and expectations of others. People will try to manipulate, control, or influence you, but when you are rooted in self-restraint, you know when to set boundaries. You understand that your energy is precious and you must protect it from being drained by those who do not respect you or your time. By exercising self-restraint, you can choose when to engage and when to walk away. You can say no without guilt and assert your needs without hesitation. This is not about being selfish or dismissive. It is about recognizing your worth and valuing yourself enough to prioritize your own well-being. In doing so, you create an environment where only those who respect and support you can enter. By sharing your values and living up to your goals, self-respect and courageous belief in your own values and boundaries can enter. The power of self-control lies in the ability to rise above the noise of the world and to stay grounded in your own truth. It is about maintaining your inner peace even when chaos surrounds you. Life will always throw challenges your way, whether it's a difficult conversation, a confrontation, or an unexpected setback. But when you have self-control, you are able to meet these challenges with composure. Rather than reacting impulsively, you respond with intention. You choose to remain calm, measured, and focused, no matter what happens. This doesn't mean that you are unaffected by the world around you. It simply means that you refuse to let external circumstances dictate your emotional state. You maintain your inner balance, and in doing so, you find a sense of peace that others may envy. Self-restraint also empowers you to achieve your goals. It is the ability to stay disciplined and focused on what truly matters, even when distractions arise. The world is full of temptations and diversions, but when you possess self-restraint, you are able to resist those urges and stay aligned with your vision. Whether it's in your career, your relationships, or your personal growth, the ability to stay committed to your goals and resist the pull of instant gratification is a powerful force. You know that the path to success is paved with small, consistent actions, and you are willing to put in the effort required to reach your destination. The road may be long, and the obstacles may seem daunting, but with self-restraint, you are equipped to handle whatever comes your way. Your perseverance and determination become the driving forces that propel you forward, and you know that each step you take brings you closer to your desired outcome. In moments of temptation, self-retribution allows you to make choices that align with your long-term goals rather than succumbing to short-term pleasures. It's the ability to say no to things that don't serve your highest good, even when those things seem enticing in the moment. is the ability to stay focused on the bigger picture, knowing that the sacrifices you make now will pay off in the future. So this ability to stay focused on the bigger picture. Self-restraint is not about denying yourself pleasure. It's about prioritizing what truly matters and making decisions that align with your values and your vision for the future. It's the ability to see beyond the immediate moment and to act with long-term success in mind. There is a quiet power in the moments when you choose to step back, to remove yourself from the noise and chaos, and to allow yourself the space to grow. Absence, when used intentionally, becomes the breeding ground for transformation. It's not about withdrawing or running away. It's about recognizing that growth requires solitude and introspection. Sometimes it's in the stillness of absence that the most profound changes happen. It is in these moments that you can nurture your own evolution without distraction or external influences. When you invest in your growth during these times of absence, you not only improve yourself, but also create the foundation for stronger connections in the future. Because absence is not a sign of weakness, but a strategic choice to realign with your core self. In the rush of everyday life, it's easy to lose sight of your true desires, your purpose, and your goals. External pressures, whether from relationships, work, or societal expectations, can easily cloud your judgment and drown out your inner voice. When you take the necessary step back, you create the opportunity to reconnect with your most authentic self. During this absence, you invest in developing your inner strength, your resilience, and your wisdom. You start to hear the whispers of your true desires, the ones that get buried under the noise of life. This space becomes a fertile ground for personal growth, where you can take the time to understand who you are, what you want, and how to align your actions with your deepest values. It will be this time that you build your clarity and strength. Taking time for yourself, especially during moments of absence, is a profound act of self-love. It's easy to get caught up in the demands of others, to constantly give without taking the time to replenish yourself. When you choose to step away, you give yourself the permission to focus on what you need to heal, to nurture, and to grow. This time allows you to replenish your energy, rejuvenate your spirit, and gain clarity on the next steps in your journey. It's in these quiet, reflective moments that you can gain the insight and wisdom that will propel you forward. During absence, you invest in the most important relationship you will ever have, the one with yourself. During periods of absence, the power of growth comes from understanding that your personal evolution is a continuous process. Growth is not always linear. There will be times of stagnation, times when it feels like nothing is happening, and times when you may question whether your efforts are paying off. But it's important to remember that absence can be the catalyst for new beginnings, just as a seed needs time to grow in the soil before it sprouts. Your growth during absence is a process of deepening, strengthening, and expanding your foundation. Every moment of solitude, every moment of quiet reflection is laying the groundwork for something greater. This time is not wasted. It is invested in your future self, the person you are becoming. Investing in your growth during absence also allows you to break free from the need for constant validation. In a world that thrives on instant gratification and the approval of others, it can be easy to fall into the trap of seeking external validation for your worth. However, when you invest in your growth during periods of absence, you learn to find validation within yourself. You begin to realize that you don't need the approval of others to feel whole or complete. End quote. Your worth is not defined by external opinions or fleeting moments of praise. Instead, you begin to understand that your value comes from within. You start to trust yourself more deeply and recognize that the only validation you need is your own. Absence also provides the space for healing. This process of healing allows you to move forward with a lighter heart and a clearer mind. The power of growth during absence is not just about moving forward, but about letting go of the past and making space for the future. It's in this space that you can cultivate the strength to create new patterns and healthier relationships. The growth that happens during absence is not just personal, it's also relational. Absence gives both you and the people in your life the opportunity to reflect on the connection you share. It allows for a shift in perspective, where both parties can see the relationship for what it truly is, without the distractions of everyday life. This space can give both individuals the chance to reassess their needs, desires, and boundaries. In doing so, it strengthens the foundation of the relationship. When you choose to invest in your growth during periods of absence, you create the possibility for deeper, more authentic connections. You learn to show up as your most aligned self, and you create the opportunity for others to do the same. The absence then is not just a break, it's a moment of recalibration, one that sets the stage for something more meaningful and lasting. Growth during absence requires trust. Trust that the space you are creating is not a sign of abandonment, but a sign of strength and wisdom. Trust that the time you spend away is not a period of stagnation, but a time of preparation for the future. Trust that you are investing in yourself and your relationships in a way that will allow both to flourish. It takes immense courage to step back, to step away from the distractions and the noise, and to invest in your own personal growth. But it is in these moments of absence that you give yourself the tools you need to move forward with clarity, strength, and purpose. An absence, often seen as a gap or a void, can in reality be the key to amplifying your value. The world may place a heavy emphasis on constant presence, on being readily available at all times. But there is a rare, quiet strength in choosing to step back and allow your absence to speak volumes. When you remove yourself from the equation, whether in relationships, business, or social settings, the perception of your worth shifts dramatically. An unsophisticated society produces less and less. It's in the absence that people begin to realize just how much they miss your presence, your energy, and your contributions. At its core, absence offers the opportunity for others to reflect on what they've taken for granted. When we are constantly around, it's easy to overlook the impact we make. But when we withdraw for a time, we create a space where others are compelled to notice the void we leave behind. This absence doesn't just highlight what's missing, it highlights the value we bring. The absence becomes a powerful reminder of our significance, something that is only truly appreciated when it is no longer there. It's a dynamic that is subtle, yet incredibly profound. In the moments we choose not to be present, we allow our value to be amplified by the very absence we create. When you choose to step away, you free others to recognize your worth, not in terms of how much you can give or how much you can do, but in terms of who you are and the energy you bring into the world. Absence allows you to preserve your energy, ensuring that it is not depleted or taken for granted. It enables you to avoid becoming a mere fixture in the background, always there, always available, but never fully appreciated. When you step back, you create a sense of longing, a sense of wanting that cannot be filled by anyone else. This is the essence of your value. It's unique, irreplaceable, and cannot be replicated. You are quick to judge. Later on, we meet again. The act of being absent also gives you the freedom to focus on yourself, your growth, and your well-being. When you step away, you are no longer caught up in the demands and distractions of everyday life. You have the time and space to invest in your personal development, your physical and emotional health, and your spiritual growth. It is in these moments of absence that you reconnect with your deeper self, realign your goals, and strengthen your inner resolve. You can reflect on what you truly want out of life and the relationships you choose to nurture. This period of self-focus not only boosts your own sense of value but also ensures that when you do return, you do so as a more grounded, more self-assured version of yourself. Absence creates an air of mystery around you. People are naturally drawn to what is elusive, to what they cannot easily obtain or understand. When you are always available, when you are constantly giving and offering your time and energy, it's easy for others to take you for granted. But when you become less accessible, others begin to appreciate you more. They begin to recognize the rarity of your presence, intentionally summon you with their attention. This sense of rarity magnifies your value because in your absence you have become an enigma, something people feel they need to seek or strive for. The power of absence lies in its ability to make your presence all the more desirable and cherished when it finally returns. So it's a mythic. In the realm of relationships, absence can serve as a tool for reflection. People often take relationships for granted, assuming that the other person will always be there. But when you step away, whether emotionally or physically, you give others the opportunity to miss you, to reflect on what you bring to their lives, and to evaluate their own feelings. Absence allows them to understand what they stand to lose if they don't appreciate you. It's the quiet reminder that love, respect, and appreciation should not be taken for granted. During this time apart, you give the other person the space to realize how much they value you, how much they miss your presence, and how much they are willing to work for your attention and affection. In turn, you gain the opportunity to re-establish boundaries, reassess your own needs, and make more informed choices about how you want to invest your energy and time in the future. Absence also offers the chance for growth within your own life. Often we can become so consumed by the needs and desires of others that we forget to take care of ourselves. When you step back, you allow the space needed for personal transformation. The world doesn't need to constantly see you in action to recognize your value. The act of stepping away allows you to evolve in your own time, without pressure or judgment. It's a reminder that growth happens in quiet moments, in the times when no one is watching, when you are working behind the scenes to become a better version of yourself. When you allow absence to amplify your value, you also foster a sense of independence. You are not defined by your availability or the amount of time you give to others. Your worth does not come from being constantly present or constantly giving. Your worth is intrinsic, and absence helps you to realize this truth. It is only in stepping away that you are able to see yourself more clearly, to recognize that your value is not dependent on external factors, but on your own sense of self-worth. This independence boosts your confidence as you no longer feel the need to seek validation or approval from others. Your absence becomes a reflection of your inner strength, your ability to stand on your own, and your commitment to your own growth and well-being.